Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Parlay Revival. We are currently sailing in Stewart Island, which is at the very southern point of New Zealand. Skip back an episode to see our crazy great white shark encounter here, where one shark took a nice little chunk out of our transom to welcome us down to the roaring 40s.
Oh my god!
But we had settled into Stewart Island nicely, and Taylor and I were dropping a fellow sailor back to his boat when we came back to a dramatic scene in the anchorage. A huge dive boat, which was anchored about 100 meters ahead of us, had all of a sudden dragged right down the side of Parlay.
What's happening? This boat's nearly swinging into us.
We don't think so.
It was louder in front of us before. Yeah. It's dragging.
Okay. You gonna board it, see if anyone's sleeping?
Hey!
Shine the light. Get out of there,
Oh,
Taylor.
be
Get out of
careful! Colin is coming! Be careful!
We need to bend it down the back.
there. On the back. Go, Joel, go.
Stand up, get right on.
Quick, Joel, quick.
The back is gonna hit.
Yeah, we're good. We're
Are
good.
you okay?
We've got clearance.
There's no one on there, right?
No.
I'll go sail on the floor.
See if the door will open.
Hello! Yeah, we're here.
Oh, they're here!
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Yeah. We were about to leave the lunch.
Yeah.
Careful, Colin's coming back.
I'm fine. I'm the fender.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Stay on, Tyler. Stay on. Yeah, I'm good.
Is that a cage on the back?
That's
Oh,
it.
he's
Hey,
talking.
That is so irresponsible. Jamie, good job.
Imagine if that happened an hour before.
30 centimeters away. It was 30 centimeters away.
I was falling on the toilet. I'm like, what's happening? I've got my boots on the wrong feet.
I walked out and that big thing was, the whole boat was right there. It's pitch black dark. I was like, what the F? And then Brett and Colin stay in this cabin. So I was like, Brett, quick, get up. And she popped out of the hatch. I was
You
like,
came out through the hatch?
yeah. Brett, you come out of the hatch. She was about that far away.
He was right there.
So nerve-wracking, and it's really windy.
Extremely windy here.
For the next 20 minutes, the crew struggled to get the anchor up and ended up coming right back towards us.
You all good? Yeah.
It was pitch black and there were other boats in the anchorage, and it is nothing short of a miracle that that boat didn't collide with another boat or end up stuck on the reef.
Took them so long to get the anchor up. It could have been so bad, and they ended up on the other side of the channel there, and they were dragging into two other sailboats there. I'm pretty sure they run aground. They were so far over on that side. Poor Georgie said she's about to throw up.
I still feel nauseous watching that thing just upwind of us, just battling so hard to get it under control, like potentially dragging into us at any time.
Yeah.
It was.
We had zero control.
Oh,
They were fast asleep, man. You were banging on that
I
door.
thought no one was on there. I was yelling, stomping, clapping.
We're only 30, 40 meters from the reef. If I had jumped on that boat and I had managed to start the engines and I had taken control and then I ran aground, I would possibly be responsible for that boat. Obviously, as a seaman, you do everything you can to try help, but taking control of someone else's boat and then when they're almost guaranteed to run aground if you're not going to do anything, it's a really, really complicated thing, and it's hard to understand unless you're in that situation. That's us anchored here. We're in the middle of the bay. I feel fine. We got plenty of chain out, but right behind us here is the reef. I don't know. I'd be curious to hear what they have to say about it tomorrow, but I think they've just taken off. But yeah, it's not all fun and games out here. That was a serious situation, and I was trying to wonder whether I should jump on there and try to take control of that boat or not, but in hindsight, probably best not to. You end up in more trouble than what it's worth.
We were all a little shaken up that night. And considering he had already dragged 100 meters, if we had not been there to wake them up, the boat would have almost definitely have ended up on the reef behind us. I personally never ever sleep without setting an anchor alarm. It's just an app on my phone that gives an alarm as soon as the boat drags outside of the anchor radius. I chose the app that I use because it doesn't need internet to work and still works when your phone is asleep, so it doesn't drain too much battery overnight. And this is yet another example of why you should always set an alarm, which I think was only about $5 from memory.
There we go, the skipper of that boat from last night that dragged pretty much into us just came round and said thank you. He said his boat was saved because of us, so yeah, pretty sketchy. He's got Riley Elliott, who's the executive producer of Shark Week, a few other big wigs on there. They're doing filming for Shark Week. So
He did actually say that if it scared the absolute shit out of them as well, so they got a bit of a wake-up call of where they anchor and how they do it, and I guess setting an anchor alarm is probably one of the biggest things that everyone should do.
So we're anchored up in a place called Lee Bay. Today's the day. We're going to leave Stewart Island and we're going to go to Dusky Sound in Fiordland. This is genuinely the most dangerous passage we've ever tried. Right now there's 5 meter swell out there, so throughout the day it drops down to about 4.5 meters at 12 seconds. So just as soon as we push out past Stewart Island, we're going to be in it. But at that 12-second period, it should be fairly rolly. It's not like your 8 or 9 or 10-second period. One option was to leave last night, but then we would have had 30 knots, which we had just coming around into here. Or the other option was to leave today, where we're going to have no wind. So it was one extreme or the other, and we've chosen to go with no wind, so it's probably going to be about 16 hours of motoring. So one of our patrons, Craig, has given us some mutton bird, and apparently we must try it while we're down here.
So we're all debating whether to eat this thing or not, and found an article in the newspaper, and it says if you enjoy sardines, anchovies and tuna, then you will adore mutton bird.
So you're in?
I'm out. Big time out.
Literally none of us like anchovies, so I don't think this is going to be for us, but we're going to give it the benefit of the doubt. Britt doesn't even eat any meat, so she's out. Lucky her.
I think I'll go vegetarian.
So happy. Couldn't have been a better day to be vegetarian, guys. And they make fun of me all the time, so today's the day.
My favourite was last night when Craig gave us the muttonburg and we were saying, what does it taste like? And he described it as duck. He said it's really, really good. It tastes like duck that is flavoured with anchovies or something like that. And I looked at Katie and her face just showed pure disgust.
One of the worst parts is the process. So apparently we have to boil it 3 separate times for half an hour each. And then what?
And it should be cooked outside.
Warning, the smell of cooking birds is pervasive and not to everyone's liking. Great.
Let's fire it up.
There we go.
Right, round one. By the way, we've also picked up a buddy boat. It's about a 70-foot fishing boat. It's a West Coaster built in Perth, and they're from around here. They just literally go from Stewart, do some charters out at Fiordlands, back to Stewart. So the captain, Bryce, knows these waters like the back of his hand. So really lucky to be able to cruise into Doubtful with them, and they said we should be fine. I've said this before and I'll say it again, the best way to network with people is just to go to the bars. We just went to the pub 2 nights in a row and we just met so many people that had useful information. That's basically how I got Parlay rebuilt in the BVRs, was going to the pub every single night, meeting the right people and just socializing, because then you just get a wealth of knowledge that you can't get from a book.
I'm not looking forward to eating this at all.
Oh, it got all over my sweater.
Apparently there's 800 millimeters. It's almost a yard of rainfall expected today in Fjordland where we're going. So that means when we get there, the waterfall should be absolutely cranking. So stroke of good luck, we're down here and it's actually sunny, and the rest of the country's getting smashed.
Jammy bastard. It's you.
Stinks. Absolutely stinks. Here she is, the old mutton bird. Anchovy flavored duck. This is for you, Craig. The only reason we're doing this is because it was a gift from Craig. Alrighty!
Oh, it's nice.
It's sort of like just before you start to feel seasick. That sort of. Who's had some?
It's really
It's so in between, like disgusting, but then it's real salty. Oh, I mean, I don't know how to feel about that.
Really? Oh no.
I'll hold your hair.
Yeah, it actually is just really, really salty.
It does just taste like anchovies.
Oh, that.
It's more the smell that's getting me.
No, that's wrong.
No, more than that.
Swallowed. You didn't swallow it.
You didn't even have a piece of the meat.
I can
That was
taste
just
it. Why do we have to eat something that we hate?
That was like 0.5 of a second in my mouth.
Nah, it's wrong.
I've gone back for seconds. It's pretty good.
Look at the size of the seconds.
I don't know if I could eat a whole half a mutton bird, but it's yum.
So with lunch over and done with, it was time to set off on our nerve-wracking passage over to Dusky Sound.
Ready to go. A little bit nervous, to be honest. This one can be very treacherous. We have been told by locals you'll probably have at least 1 hour of hell, punching into it, into the current, the waves standing up. So fingers crossed we only get an hour of that, but we've packed everything away. We've never stowed everything as much as we have now.
The thing that's weird about this is we would normally never just push out into a 4.5 meter swell, but it just doesn't really get much better than that around here. It was 6 meter swell at 11 seconds yesterday, so thank goodness we're not out there for that. But it's kind of like you just got to take your little opportunities like this. Aeroplane! I think we just got to take these opportunities when they arise. It's going to be a motor sail, if not a full-on motor for 100 miles. So not good on the old bank account with the diesel, but better than getting smashed. Obviously every 6 hours the tide's changing, so there's going to be patches of just waves wanting to stand up against that current. But now we've got no wind, just going to be dealing with swell. Hope that's not famous last words, but
Doing it.
going to Fjordland! Can't believe this is happening. Even this is beautiful, but man, it is going to be nothing compared to Fjordland.
Waterfalls, waterfalls!
What have these guys been making fun of you for?
Because I actually have a life and I have to go and work, and I've been contemplating the fact that I need to get back. They're just rubbing it in hard, you know.
What would you do? Fjordland or work?
Got my children missing me. I got a mortgage to pay, and this guy's just ribbing me because I've got to go home.
I am so excited. All I've been watching are videos of the Fjordlands and sounds and how amazing it's gonna be. I can't wait!
I'm a little bit nervous. I've just spent the afternoon with Jamie packing everything away on the boat, and it was quite intense.
Seems like it's going to be pretty wild. 4.5 or whatever the swell is. It's as big as I've seen, or I'm going to see.
This is what I wanted. When he said about doing this, I was like, I want to come on this bit because I want to have some rough seas, because everything else I've done's been sunset sailing. So.
Rumor has it that if you leave the stockings up on the line long enough, Santa will come and fill it with presents.
I hope it fills it with warmer socks.
So we set off into the evening, creeping up the east coast of Stewart Island, hiding from the swell which was forecasted.
Come on,
That looks
put on
good.
that dad bod.
That looks good.
As mentioned, we would normally never ever head off into 4-meter seas, but it had been 6 to 10 meters for so long that we just had to take this opportunity.
Timed it perfectly. We got the big code D out with motor sailing on 7.4 over ground and about 5.8 through the water. So we got a knot and a half of current throwing us out Fovo Strait, which is perfect. The problem rises when that current starts to come towards us against this nice little 10 knot breeze.
It wasn't long into the night before we had a little mishap furling away the code D,
Go, Katie? Yeah.
where it had picked up a little bit of the middle of the sail and furled it back into the foil.
Let's get it right. Should be under this way. So the only way we got it in the end was to spin the tack of the sail and then finally find that bit that was jammed in there.
So we finally got it unwrapped, but while she was trying to capture the moment, Georgie ended up almost needing to fill a bucket.
Thank you.
Did you spew in the bucket?
Not yet.
You did it?
No, just a bit of saliva. Listening to the. Yeah, no, I'm feeling better. I tried to film in the dark, and it made me queasy.
Poor Georgie, feeling a bit queasy.
A salty sea dog, no vomit yet.
The sea is nowhere near as big as it was forecasted, which is good. The wind is about what's forecasted, but we're at the turn of the tide now. So now the current is going to slowly come towards us.
Luckily for us, the swell was more around 3 meters than the 4 meters, and felt like an even longer swell period than forecasted, so the boat gently rose and dropped with the big rolling swell. I tried to put the drone up and capture this, but as usual, ocean conditions are almost impossible to capture realistically on any camera that we've tried. But eye level on our flybridge is 3.5 meters, and the bigger swells were definitely around there when we were in the trough, so it's safe to say that it wasn't exactly flat out here.
Yeah, it's been smooth sailing. The seas are probably 3.5 meters, but there's a lot of roll on it. We don't have any wind, so if there was 20 knots of wind on what we're in at the moment, it should be pretty uncomfortable. Not dangerous, just uncomfortable. But this morning we've woken up to hundreds of dolphins, and the sun just come up over the mountains, so that was pretty spectacular.
Wow, this is so sweet. We're just coming into Dusky now. The swell is just carrying us in so nicely. The sun's just getting a little bit higher into the sky, and you can start to see all the details in the mountains. All the shadows, all the purples, all the greens. Yeah, it's stunning.
Like everything that it's cracked up to be so far, and this is just the inlet of Dusky Sound. We're going to go up through the Anchorage passage today, and yeah, pretty special to be here on our own boat.
To realise this is the country that we live in, I'm speechless about it. It's the beauty. It seems like you couldn't find it anywhere else in the world.
Caught behind Venetian blinds, out of reach for the city lights. This ain't where I belong. Hey, look at me, man, what I become. I've been running east, looking for a sunset, digging deep since '99.
It makes me feel so proud to be from here and to have this kind of beauty exist in our own country, and to be able to not only see it for myself, I've never been here before, but to be able to share it with you guys as well and show the beauty of our own country is pretty special to me. So yeah, we're just sitting here, listening to some Māori songs as we come into the pass, and yeah, I wanted to cry. It was very emotional. It's hard to describe.
This is all untouched, you know. It's so remote, it's so untouched. It's a massive, massive national park.
There's 3 ways to get in here: by helicopter, by seaplane, or a boat. And we've just bought our own boat into Fjordland. It's a massive, massive accomplishment, even just to get round that Pusica Point there that we went around last night, it's huge. I think we can all be really proud of what we've done. This is so much harder to get to, and so it just feels so much more special when you're here.
Only thing that would top it off, I mean, it's already absolutely once in a lifetime amazing, is if Jamie would catch us a fish.
Everyone's been telling us that the bluefin, you just put your lure out and you'll catch them everywhere. And we've just come over the best fishing ground and we didn't even get a hit.
So we had arrived safely into Dusky Sound in the infamous region called Fiordland, arguably the most remote and most scenic part of the country.
Is this even planet Earth? Like, seems like we're on another universe right now.
The closest safe haven from here to the south is Stewart Island, where we had just come from, and to the north would be Abel Tasman at the top of the South Island. Hence why hardly any sailboats dare to come down here. Our buddy boat, the Yawindi 2, had arrived before us, so we motored on over to meet them after they had just been diving for crayfish.
Pickersgill Harbour, they call us.
Let's see it.
Did you get it with your hand?
Oh yeah.
Look at him. You can see her out. It's hopefully something that will keep these sandflies off me. My legs, I went for a paddleboard yesterday on Stewart Island and I climbed up a rock and sat there for 5 minutes and that's all it took. My legs just covered in bites. No good.
Yep, there is a price to pay for being in paradise, and that's the sandflies. The other downside are the crazy storms that come through, but look at the scenery. It was so worth the risk. It felt like something out of Jurassic Park, and we couldn't get over how remote we were. No roads, no people, just us deep in the mountains of Dusky Sound.
You're like the praise that they caught.
Yeah, and we're gonna replace them in the morning.
Oh yeah, you gonna get some?
I hope so.
They better be 30 centimeters deep.
Yeah, not real fast.
They have no legs.
Yeah, but hopefully they can't swim. The heart starters on the barbie.
Almost looks like you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You get some advice or something?
All straight off the
No one's told you what to do it.
Nah.
So we enjoyed fresh Fiordland crayfish on our first night in Dusky Sound, rafted up next to a 70-foot fishing boat. Life couldn't get much better than this. With his stomach full of crays and beer, Jamie made the fatal mistake of passing out on the couch, so we took it upon ourselves to mess with him a little bit.
How much shit can we stack on him? Get it all.
Down here, bro, seriously.
Okay, maybe we got a little carried away, but we were just so excited to be here after making it all the way down to Fiordland, and this was just day one. If you're new here, hit subscribe and join us next Sunday as we start to see some of the incredible beauty that this place has to offer. What? And it is absolutely mind-blowing down here.
Can't believe this is real life.